The stars stretched endlessly around the council station, glinting like distant jewels. Inside, the Galaxy Council members debated quietly, their voices low but tense. Every species represented had its own opinion about the humans. Some called them dangerous, others foolish, but all underestimated them. Earth had been silent for centuries, isolated and hidden, and the Council assumed that silence meant weakness. On the bridge of the Earth Fleet flagship, Commander Jinwoo stared at the star map. His crew moved efficiently, checking weapons systems, shields, and communications. The Titan-class warship had been detected near the outer rim, moving closer to human space. Jinwoo clenched his jaw. The Council might fear the humans, but it would be nothing compared to what they would see today. Lieutenant Hygiene worked quickly at her console, analyzing the data streaming from the fleet scouts. Commander, the warship is larger than any model in our database. This firepower is immense. Jinwoo nodded, keeping his face calm. We expected that. Keep scanning. We need every advantage. On Earth, civilians went about their lives, unaware that the galaxy was about to watch them closely. In secret, human engineers had spent decades preparing for this moment. The fleet was hidden, shielded from detection, and armed with technology that could rival the Council's best. Among the engineers was young Sumin, who had designed the stealth drones that would give humans their first edge. She worked tirelessly in the control room, double-checking systems, and ensuring the fleet would move without detection. In the Council station, the aliens noticed something strange on their sensors. Something is moving near the outer rim, one of the Council members said, his voice tight. It is fast and organized. We cannot identify it clearly. Could it be the humans? Another asked, disbelief in his tone. Impossible, the first replied. They are primitive compared to our fleets. Jinwoo watched the sensors on his bridge as the Titan-class warship loomed closer. It was a terrifying sight, massive and bristling with weapons. Yet he felt no fear. He had trained his crew well, and he knew the humans had one advantage the Council would never expect: cleverness and unity. All ships, prepare for stealth maneuver, Jinwoo ordered. We will observe first. No fire unless necessary. The fleet moved silently, slipping past detection grids with careful precision. Hygiene monitored the warship's energy signatures, noting the patterns of its shields and weapon systems. Commander, the shields are strong, but they have a predictable recharge cycle. We might exploit that. Jinwoo smiled slightly. Good. Keep tracking. Sumin, your drones are ready. Sumin nodded. All systems green, Commander. We can send them in for initial reconnaissance without alerting the enemy. Meanwhile, in the Council station, panic began to ripple through the ranks. The humans, whom they considered weak and slow, were moving with precision and confidence. Council members whispered among themselves, unsure what to do. None could act without clear orders, and their hesitation grew as the human fleet drew nearer. On the human ships, tension was high but controlled. Jinwoo walked along the command bridge, observing his crew. Every officer knew their role. Young engineer Minacio adjusted power outputs to the shields, ensuring the fleet could endure even a direct hit. Pilot Ji-hoon ran final simulations in his cockpit, imagining the maneuvers they would need to evade the warship's first volley. The Titan-class warship suddenly activated a long-range scan, sweeping the sector with powerful sensors. The humans held their breath as the energy wave passed by them. The shields shimmered faintly but held. The warship had detected something unusual but not enough to lock onto the stealth fleet. It moved on, and the humans breathed a quiet sigh of relief. Jinwoo studied the massive warship on his view screen. It was enormous, dwarfing any human vessel in the fleet. Yet its size made it predictable. He gestured to Hygiene. Note the weapon recharge cycle. We will exploit it when the time comes. Back in the Council station, alarm bells rang. The humans were not running or hiding. They were watching, waiting, and their presence alone froze the Council in fear. No one had ever seen Earth's fleet operate in such a coordinated, calm manner. A few Council members whispered that perhaps the humans were more dangerous than anyone had thought. Sumin's drones moved ahead silently, slipping past the massive warship's outer sensors. Each drone sent back images of the alien ship, revealing weak points and shield patterns. The humans analyzed the data quickly, forming a strategy that the Council could not have predicted. The Titan-class warship might have size and firepower, but the humans had strategy and cleverness. Jinwoo addressed his crew. Today, we show the galaxy that humans are not to be underestimated. Stay sharp, stay together, and remember our training. The young pilots, engineers, and officers nodded, a sense of pride and determination filling the bridge. Each knew that the moment of contact with the Titan-class warship would define humanity's place in the galaxy. And they were ready. In the distance, the warship rotated slowly, unaware of the silent observers nearby. The humans' first contact with this terrifying vessel would soon begin. The Council watched from afar, frozen and uncertain. As Earth's fleet prepared to demonstrate that humans were not just survivors, they were warriors. Jinwoo's eyes met Haijian's on the bridge. Ready the drones. Let's see what we're dealing with. Sumin's fingers flew over her console. Drones deployed, beginning reconnaissance now. The tiny ships darted forward like sparks in the darkness of space, slipping past the Titan-class warship's massive hull. Sensors sent back streams of information, weapon placements, shield cycles, engine ports. Every piece of data was analyzed in real time, creating a plan that no alien could have imagined. Jinwoo leaned back in his chair, feeling the calm before the storm. This was the moment humanity had been preparing for. Their first contact with a Titan-class warship was more than a battle. It was proof that humans could face the galaxy's most powerful forces and survive. The Council remained frozen in fear, their massive station filled with whispers and disbelief. They had assumed humans were weak, quiet, and isolated. Now they saw the truth. Humans were united, intelligent, and unafraid. As the stars shimmered around the human fleet, Jinwoo made a quiet promise to his crew and to Earth itself. We will show the galaxy who we are, and we will survive. The Titan-class warship loomed larger as the human fleet drew closer, its massive weapons bristling like a living monster. Commander Jinwoo watched it silently from the bridge, his eyes calm but alert. The Council members, observing from afar, had frozen in fear. They did not understand how a small group of human ships could face such a giant and remain so confident. Lieutenant Haijian monitored the enemy's energy signatures. Commander, it is fully armed. Its weapons are designed to destroy entire planets. We cannot underestimate it. Jinwoo nodded. We will not attack unless we must. Let's gather more information. Sumin, how are the drones? Sumin's fingers moved over her console quickly. All drones are in position, feeding live data back. We are analyzing shield patterns and weapon cycles. The first drones darted near the warship surface, slipping past its outer sensors. They sent back images of enormous guns and shield generators. The humans watched carefully, learning every detail. Min Seo, the engineer, calculated weak points in the ship's armor, while pilot Ji-hoon prepared to take action if necessary. Commander, the warship has detected something, Haijian said, tension in her voice. The alien sensors had picked up faint signals from the drones. It is scanning, but it has not locked on. Jinwoo exhaled slowly. Good. Keep them hidden. We will strike only when the time is right. The Council murmured among themselves, stunned. They had assumed humans were simple, primitive creatures, yet here they were operating with precision and calm under pressure. Their hesitation gave the humans a silent advantage. On the human fleet, officers checked weapons, shields, and engines. Every crew member understood the stakes. Jinwoo walked along the bridge, offering quiet encouragement. Stay alert. Focus on what you know. Together, we can handle this. Sumin's drones continued their work, moving along the warship's hull and mapping every surface. The humans studied the data, creating a plan that even the Council could not foresee. Despite the warship size, its systems had vulnerabilities, and humans intended to exploit them. Suddenly, the Titan-class warship powered up its long-range weapons. Energy beams lit the darkness of space, cutting through stars. The human stealth maneuver barely kept them undetected. Ji-hoon piloted one of the fighters, weaving through invisible gaps and narrowly avoiding detection. "Commander, the shields are recharging," Hygiene said. "We have a small window. We could launch a probe strike to test their defenses." Jin-woo considered carefully. "Do it. Small attack, just enough to see their reaction. No full engagement yet." The probe launched, moving swiftly toward the warship. Energy rippled as it hit the surface, and the humans watched closely. The warship fired back, massive beams of energy slicing through space, but the probe dodged with calculated maneuvers. Data returned immediately, giving the humans an understanding of weapon timings and weak points. In the council station, panic spread. "They are analyzing the Titan-class warship while it fires," one member shouted. "How can they survive?" "It is impossible," another whispered. "Humans should be dead. Yet they are not only surviving, they are learning." The warship's weapons turned toward the humans, searching for targets. Jin-woo raised his hand. "Hold steady. Wait for the opening." Hygiene's eyes widened as she saw a pattern. "Commander, the shields drop briefly after each volley. If we time our attack carefully, we can strike without being destroyed." Jin-woo smiled faintly. "That is what we will do. Prepare the fleet for coordinated fire." The humans moved with quiet precision. Fighters positioned themselves around the warship, ready to strike simultaneously. Drones fed real-time data to the flagship, guiding the attack. Min-SEO adjusted power to the shields, ensuring maximum protection, while Sumin prepared secondary drones to exploit any opening. Ji-hoon's fighter took the lead, darting close to the warship's hull. Energy beams passed harmlessly nearby, missing him by meters. His hands were steady, his focus total. Around him, other pilots mirrored his maneuvers, following the coordinated plan. Suddenly, the warship unleashed a powerful energy burst. The humans felt the force push against their shields. Sensors flickered, and alarms rang briefly, but Jin-woo's calm voice guided the crew. "Steady. Remember your training. Hold your positions." The Titan-class warship, despite its immense power, could not predict the humans' timing. The drones found a weak point near the midsection, just below the main shield generators. Jin-woo gave the order quietly. "Now, all units, fire." Energy beams and projectiles surged toward the warship's weak spot. The first strike hit, causing minor explosions and rattling the alien vessel. It was enough to shock the council, who watched in disbelief as their prized weapon sustained damage from a small fleet of humans. "They have hit it!" a council member exclaimed, voice trembling. "How can this be? They are supposed to be weak." The human fleet held steady, maintaining formation and preparing for further maneuvers. Jin-woo knew this was just the beginning. "Stay ready. They will respond." The warship rotated slowly, attempting to bring all its weapons to bear. Fighters weaved in and out, avoiding destruction. Sumin's secondary drones darted in, exploiting new weak points discovered during the first strike. Each hit gave more data, and each move brought the humans closer to understanding the enemy completely. Hygiene analyzed the sensors. "Commander, the warship's engine ports are exposed during shield recharge. If we can hit them, we can slow its movement." Jin-woo nodded. "Target the engines carefully. We do not need to destroy the ship yet, only disable it." The human pilots adjusted positions. Ji-hoon led a group to attack the engine ports. Energy beams cut through the darkness, hitting the target. The warship shuddered, its massive engines sputtering. The humans had achieved something the council never expected. They had forced a Titan-class warship to falter. In the council station, chaos erupted. Members shouted at each other, unsure how to respond. "We cannot let this continue," one yelled. "The humans are more dangerous than we imagined." Another whispered, "They have strategy. They are organized. And they are fearless. We cannot predict them." Back on the human flagship, Jin-woo observed the warship's movements. "They are struggling, but not yet defeated. We will continue to probe, learn, and prepare. Today is not the end. It is the first demonstration." The human fleet moved carefully, maintaining stealth and control. Each strike, each maneuver was deliberate and calculated. The Titan-class warship had underestimated its opponent, and now it was paying the price. The humans were proving that courage, intelligence, and unity could match even the greatest of threats. Jinwoo looked at his crew. "We have shown them we can fight. The Council is watching. The galaxy is watching. Remember this. Humanity is not to be underestimated." The young pilots, engineers, and officers felt a sense of pride. Each knew the work they had done today would be remembered across the stars. The first encounter with the Titan-class warship had begun, and humans had already turned fear into power. Suman's drones returned to the flagship for data analysis. Min SEO reviewed the damage assessment and suggested further maneuvers. Ji-hoon prepared for the next coordinated strike. Hygiene updated the shield and weapon systems. Each member of the fleet contributed to the success of the operation. The Council remained frozen in fear, unable to act. They had thought the humans weak and primitive. Now they realized the truth. Humans were not only capable of surviving a Titan-class warship, they were ready to fight, learn, and possibly defeat it. As the human fleet held position in the dark expanse of space, Jinwoo knew that this encounter was only the beginning. The Titan-class warship was formidable, but the humans had intelligence, courage, and unity on their side. And that would be their greatest weapon in the battles to come. The Titan-class warship limped slightly as the humans studied its movements. Commander Jinwoo stood on the bridge, reviewing the data collected from the previous encounter. Hygiene analyzed the energy readings and shield cycles while Min SEO and Suman worked on calculating optimal attack points. The humans had learned a lot from their first contact and were preparing for a full counterattack. "Commander, we have mapped its weak spots and shield patterns precisely," Hygiene reported. "We can coordinate a strike that hits the engines and weapon arrays simultaneously." Jinwoo nodded, his calm demeanor reassuring the crew. "Good. Prepare the fleet. Today we show the galaxy our strength." Ji-hoon adjusted his fighter systems, checking weapons and shields. He glanced at his squadmates, who were focused and ready. The young pilots were determined, knowing that their precision and courage could decide the outcome of this battle. Around the bridge, other crew members monitored every system, ensuring the fleet's readiness. Suman's drones darted forward again, slipping past the Titan-class warship sensors. Each drone transmitted information back in real time, updating the humans on shield fluctuations, weapon placements, and energy outputs. The humans worked quickly, using the new data to adjust their strategy. "Commander, the engines are exposed again," Hygiene said, pointing at the display. "This is our chance. If we can hit them now, we can slow its movement." Jinwoo gave the order. "All units focus on the engines. Time it with the shield drop. Move in with precision." The fleet advanced cautiously, staying spread out to avoid concentrated fire. Fighters zipped through space with careful coordination, guided by the drone's data. The Titan-class warship unleashed a volley of energy beams, cutting through the void. The humans dodged with practiced maneuvers, barely avoiding destruction. Ji-hoon led a group of fighters directly toward the engine ports. His hands were steady, his mind focused on the target. Around him, his squadmates followed, weaving through the warship's attacks. Min SEO adjusted the shields on their capital ships, ensuring the fleet could absorb any stray damage. Suman guided secondary drones to attack the weapon arrays. They moved like silent shadows, striking weak points the warship had not anticipated. Explosions lit the darkness of space, shaking the massive vessel but leaving the human fleet intact. Every successful hit was a step toward turning the tide of the encounter. The Council watched helplessly, frozen in fear and disbelief. "How can they be doing this?" one member asked. "Their fleet is small. The Titan-class warship should crush them." Another replied quietly, "Humans have strategy. They coordinate, adapt, and strike with intelligence. This is unlike anything we expected." On the human flagship, Jinwoo monitored the battle, giving quiet orders. "Keep formation. Target the shields next. Focus fire where the drones indicate weakness." Stay sharp. Hygiene's eyes scanned the sensor displays. Commander, the shield generators are weakening. If we hit them now, we can prevent the warship from firing all weapons at once. Jinwoo nodded. Prepare for synchronized attack. Fighters, drones, capital ships. Fire on my mark. The humans coordinated perfectly. Fighters struck from multiple angles, drones penetrated defensive gaps, and the capital ships unleashed concentrated fire on the weakened shield generators. The Titan-class warship shuddered, unable to respond quickly enough. Sparks and debris scattered across the void as explosions rocked its hull. Ji-hoon's squad dodged falling debris and maintained formation. His voice came over the comms calmly. Engines hit. Shield generators under heavy fire. Keep focus, everyone. We can do this. Sumin guided drones to exploit a new vulnerability near the warship's midsection. Min-SEO calculated trajectories and adjusted shield power to protect the fleet during the strike. Hygiene monitored weapon cycles, timing every attack precisely. Each human played a role, and the coordination was seamless. The Titan-class warship fired wildly, trying to retaliate. Energy beams missed the humans' agile fighters, striking empty space instead. The humans had learned its rhythm and could anticipate its moves. Jinwoo smiled faintly, proud of his crew's performance in the council station. Panic had turned to disbelief. Members shouted at each other, trying to devise a response, but the humans' actions left them paralyzed. They could not comprehend how such a small fleet could damage their prized warship. Back on the human flagship, Jinwoo gave the next order. Prepare boarding drones. We may need to disable critical systems directly if the shields fall completely. Sumin's fingers flew across the console. Boarding drones ready, Commander. We can infiltrate the warship through exposed access points. Hygiene monitored the shield levels. Generators are nearly offline. The warship cannot maintain full firepower for long. This is our chance. Ji-hoon's squad moved closer, covering the drones as they approached the hull. Small explosions and flashes marked the first successful infiltration. The drones bypassed security measures, sending back images of the internal systems. Min-SEO calculated the safest routes and critical targets. The human fleet remained coordinated, moving as one unit. Jinwoo's calm voice guided them through the chaos. Maintain focus. Each action counts. Remember, precision is our greatest weapon. The Titan-class warship struggled to regain control. Its massive engines sputtered. Weapon arrays were offline or damaged, and shields fluctuated. The humans had achieved something the Council never thought possible. They had turned a seemingly unstoppable vessel into a vulnerable target. Hygiene smiled at the display. Commander, the shield generators are offline. Boarding drones have access to critical systems. We can disable it completely. Jinwoo nodded. Then do it. Ensure we leave it intact if possible. We are demonstrating power, not committing unnecessary destruction. The drones moved with speed and precision, shutting down weapon systems and stabilizing damaged areas to prevent catastrophic explosions. The human fleet provided cover, ready to respond to any counterattack. Sparks and energy bursts filled the darkness as the warship systems fell silent one by one. Ji-hoon guided his fighters around debris and stray fire, keeping a protective perimeter. Min-SEO and Sumin coordinated with him, ensuring the drones had uninterrupted access. Hygiene calculated shield realignments, preventing any accidental damage to human vessels. The Council watched in stunned silence. They are not just surviving, they are controlling the warship, one member said, voice trembling. How can this be? Another replied, humans are not weak. They are brilliant, fearless, and coordinated. We misjudged them entirely. On the human flagship, Jinwoo observed the results. The Titan-class warship was crippled but intact, a testament to human ingenuity and teamwork. This will send a clear message to the galaxy, he said quietly. Humans are capable of facing the greatest threats and emerging victorious. The fleet regrouped, assessing damage and preparing for further action. The first counterattack had been a success, proving that human strategy and unity could overcome even the most formidable forces. Each crew member felt pride and determination, knowing they had played a role in an unforgettable achievement. As the stars shimmered around them, the humans had demonstrated their ability to learn, adapt, and strike effectively. The Titan-class warship was no longer invincible, and the Council had no choice but to recognize that Earth and its fleet were a force to be reckoned with. Jinwoo looked at his crew and said, "Today, we have shown the galaxy what humans can do. This is only the beginning." The stars around the battlefield were bright with energy and explosions. The Titan-class warship was crippled but not defeated. Commander Jinwoo watched the display from the flagship bridge. His crew was tense but focused. They had the upper hand, but the fight was not over. The Council continued to watch in fear, realizing that humans could actually challenge their greatest weapon. Hygiene monitored the warship's remaining systems. "Commander, the shield generators are offline, and the engines are damaged. Weapon arrays are partially disabled, but they can still fire sporadically. We must strike carefully." Jinwoo nodded. "We will continue with coordinated maneuvers. Focus on precision. Do not waste energy on unnecessary attacks." Sumin's drones moved swiftly, scanning for hidden systems and weak points. They identified the warship's core power systems, revealing areas that, if targeted, would limit its capabilities even further. Min-SEO calculated trajectories for concentrated fire, ensuring the fleet's energy and weapon systems were used efficiently. Ji-hoon's fighter squad prepared for another run. "Commander, we are ready to strike on your order," he reported. Jinwoo studied the warship carefully. Its movements were slower, its weapons less coordinated. "Proceed. Attack in formation. Use the shield cycle timing. Focus on the core." The human fleet advanced, firing with precision and care. Fighters weaved around debris and energy blasts, drones penetrated defensive gaps, and capital ships concentrated their fire on the core systems. The Titan-class warship shuddered as explosions rocked its hull. Sparks and smoke filled the dark expanse of space. The Council's panic grew. "They are dismantling the warship with a small fleet," one member shouted. "This is impossible. Humans are clever," another whispered. "They use coordination and precision rather than brute force. We underestimated them." On the human flagship, Jinwoo remained calm, directing the battle with measured orders. "Adjust fire. Protect the boarding drones. Keep fighters in defensive formation. We will disable the warship without destroying it." Sumin guided boarding drones through exposed ports, infiltrating the ship to shut down remaining critical systems. Min-SEO calculated power reroutes to prevent explosions and maintain stability. Hygiene monitored energy flows, giving real-time updates to the fleet. The humans worked in perfect harmony, a single unit against the massive enemy. Ji-hoon led his squad through the warship's outer defenses. Energy beams passed harmlessly by, missing their targets as the pilots used precise maneuvers. They struck the exposed engine and weapon systems, causing additional damage. The warship struggled to respond, its massive hull trembling from the coordinated attacks. The Council members could hardly believe what they were seeing. "They are not just surviving, they are controlling the battle," one said, voice shaking. "How can this be?" Another added, "Their unity and strategy are beyond anything we imagined. The humans are a force to be feared." Jinwoo observed the warship closely. "Prepare the final strike," he said quietly. "Once the core systems are neutralized, we can ensure it will no longer threaten our space." Hygiene scanned the sensors. "Commander, the core is exposed. Boarding drones can access it directly. Weapons and shields are down enough for a full infiltration." "Go ahead," Jinwoo ordered. "Ensure all drones are protected and move as a team. Precision first, destruction only if necessary." The drones advanced into the warship, moving with silent efficiency. Systems were shut down carefully, power rerouted to prevent catastrophic explosions. The humans ensured the ship would remain intact for study and demonstration purposes. Each step was calculated, leaving nothing to chance. Fighters covered the drones, weaving through debris and energy bursts. Ji-hoon's squad maintained strict formation, protecting the vulnerable units. Min Seo and Sumin coordinated shields and repairs to nearby ships, keeping the fleet stable. Hygiene timed updates perfectly, ensuring all strikes were synchronized. The Titan-class warship convulsed as its systems failed. Engines sputtered, weapons went offline, and shields flickered. Sparks rained across space, illuminating the damaged giant. Jinwoo and his crew watched, knowing the warship's threat was now neutralized. In the council station, fear turned into shock. Members shouted at one another, unable to comprehend how a small human fleet had subdued the Titan-class warship. "We underestimated them," one exclaimed. "They are not simple primitives. They are brilliant strategists and warriors." Another voice echoed in fear. "The humans have proven they can face the strongest ships and survive. We may have misjudged them entirely." Back on the human flagship, Jinwoo spoke quietly to his crew. "We have disabled the warship. Today we have shown the galaxy the strength of humanity. Maintain readiness. This is not the end, but a demonstration of what we can achieve when we work together." The fleet regrouped, assessing damage and stabilizing positions. Boarding drones completed their mission, shutting down core systems and ensuring the warship could no longer threaten them. Min Seo reviewed energy and weapon systems, confirming the fleet was unharmed. Jihoon and his squad performed final sweeps, clearing debris and ensuring all pathways were secure. Sumin's drones continued to monitor the warship for hidden threats. Hygiene calculated the next moves, ensuring the fleet remained in a defensive formation. The council remained frozen, unsure how to respond. They had assumed humans were weak, isolated, and insignificant. Now, they understood that humans were intelligent, coordinated, and capable of defeating even the most formidable vessels. Fear and respect replaced their arrogance. Jinwoo looked at his crew, pride in his eyes. "Today, we have proven that humans are not to be underestimated. The Titan-class warship is a symbol of their fear, but we have shown them courage, intelligence, and unity can overcome brute strength." The fleet held steady among the stars, their presence a silent warning to any who would challenge Earth. Humans had faced the Titan-class warship and emerged victorious, not through sheer force, but through strategy, coordination, and determination. As the stars shimmered around the fleet, Jinwoo reflected on the battle. They had survived, learned, and demonstrated their strength to the galaxy. The Titan-class warship had been a test, and humans had passed with skill and courage. The Council, watching helplessly, could only acknowledge that Earth had arrived on the galactic stage as a force to be reckoned with. The human fleet remained vigilant, prepared for any further encounters. Each crew member knew that their actions had changed the galaxy's perception of humanity forever. The Titan-class warship would no longer be a symbol of fear. It had become a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and unity. Jinwoo's voice echoed softly across the bridge. "We have shown the galaxy our strength. Let them remember it." The aftermath of the battle hung quietly in space. The Titan-class warship was disabled, its massive hull scarred and lifeless. Commander Jinwoo surveyed the scene from the bridge of the flagship, feeling a mixture of relief and pride. The human fleet remained in formation, vigilant and ready for any further threat. The Council, observing from their distant station, had no choice but to acknowledge the human strength. Hygiene scanned the surrounding area for any remaining hazards. "Commander, the warship is fully neutralized. No signs of secondary systems activation. Our fleet is safe." Jinwoo nodded, his eyes calm. "Excellent. Begin immediate assessment and repairs. We need to ensure full readiness." Min Seo and Sumin worked quickly to restore minor damages to the fleet. Shields were reinforced, systems checked, and weapons tested. Even small repairs were critical, as any misstep could leave them vulnerable in the uncertain galaxy. Jihoon and his squad performed final sweeps around the disabled warship, confirming that no hidden threats remained. The fighters moved like shadows, careful and precise, protecting the fleet while allowing the drones to complete their work. Each human knew that discipline and coordination had been the key to their victory. In the council station, debates raged. The representatives could not understand how humans had managed to neutralize such a powerful warship. Some called for immediate withdrawal to avoid further losses, while others suggested negotiation or cautious observation. Fear dominated their discussions, and no decision could be made quickly. One elder council member spoke quietly. "We have underestimated Earth for too long. They are not simple primitives. They have strategy, courage, and unity. Perhaps it is time to reconsider our approach." Another replied in worry, "If they continue to demonstrate this level of skill, the balance of power in the galaxy may shift. We must tread carefully." Back on the human flagship, Jinwoo addressed his crew. "Today, we have shown the galaxy what humanity can do. Our fleet is capable of facing even the strongest forces. But we must remain vigilant. This is only the beginning." Hygiene nodded, her eyes reflecting the stars. "Commander, the data we collected from the warship is invaluable. We can learn a great deal about the technology and improve our strategies for future encounters." Sumin smiled faintly. "The drones have mapped every critical system. We can adapt and upgrade quickly. This victory is as much about knowledge as it is about force." Min Seo added, "Humanity has proven that we can overcome challenges with intelligence and unity. That message alone may deter others from attacking us in the future." Jihoon's voice came over the comms. "All pilots accounted for, Commander. Damage is minimal. We're ready for the next mission if needed." Jinwoo felt a surge of pride for his crew. Each member had played a vital role, demonstrating courage, skill, and determination. He knew that humans had changed the galaxy's perception forever. The Council had seen that Earth was not weak and that its people could face even the most terrifying forces with intelligence and bravery. The fleet regrouped, forming a protective perimeter around the disabled warship. Boarding drones completed the shutdown of the remaining systems, ensuring that the ship could not recover. Every vessel returned to full operational status, and the human crew began final scans of the surrounding space, making certain no hidden threats remained. The stars shimmered silently around them, witnessing humanity's rising power. Jinwoo gazed at the disabled Titan-class warship and reflected on the journey. From a hidden, underestimated civilization, humans had emerged to challenge one of the galaxy's greatest weapons. Their strategy, courage, and unity had carried the day. The Council continued to watch, frozen in awe and fear. They had assumed Earth was isolated and primitive, but they now understood the truth. Humans were organized, intelligent, and resilient. The galaxy had underestimated them for too long, and the lesson had been made clear. Jinwoo spoke softly, almost to himself. "We have survived, we have learned, and we have proven our strength. Humanity will not be ignored."